900 Global has announced the Viking, which will release on November 21st. At a passive glance, it seems to be a replacement for the Origin. They are both polished hybrid asyms, but there are a handful of detail differences that may allow them to coexist, so we're going to dive into those first. Then I have more ranting to do because SPI is once again making things complicated and confusing, but let's talk Viking first. The Viking features the new Strobe AI core, which is single density, so it doesn't have any kind of flip block or puck on it, which should keep it pretty stable and controllable and help it avoid standing up or hook stopping on the back end. It is very reminiscent of the tri-elliptic core in Brunswick's Mesmerize and Hypnotize, both in shape and as far as the numbers are concerned. Now, core shapes are core shapes, just like colors are colors, so while I'm noting and communicating the similarity because I'm expecting others to make the same observation, I did the same thing recently with Brunswick's Alert having a very similar shape core to Motu's Venom Shock. I can't dog anybody for it, so to speak. Everybody has their version of the light bulb core, for example. There's only so many geometric shapes that both create good ball reaction and meet the spec requirements. It doesn't mean that anyone is copying anyone else. It's the same as when one ball comes out that looks like another ball. There's only so many colors, and with over 100 balls released every year, there's going to be some similar looking balls from other companies. It's just a fact of life. Plus, if something is popular or works, everybody else is going to try to copy it every different direction. It happens everywhere around us in everyday life, so we're just going to move on. 251RG, so kind of medium to help with length a little. 052 differential for a lot of flare. That's a pretty standard number for an asym. Then 016 for an int diff in 15 pounds. That's right on that line before we start dipping down into mild asym territory with the gremlins of the world. Really consistent numbers, 14 through 16, which is helpful for 14 or 16 pound users watching predominantly 15 pound reviews. Those numbers are, of course, really similar to the Mesmerize and the Hypnotize, but they really aren't to the Origin, which is what we're concerned with here. I'm just more using those other balls for reference since the Viking should be in that general strength and reaction zone. Origin numbers are 248, 050, and 020, and while you might say, okay, well, just a few points lower on RG, a few points higher on int diff, what's the big deal? RG points feel fairly substantial, so 3 points will be noticeable in the ball reaction. Just ask people who have moved from 15s to 14s and typically end up with higher RG balls. 5 points in the int diff will matter too, so the Origin is going to roll and rev earlier and have more torque down lane. Plus, the Origin has RB93 hybrid, the Viking has RB90 hybrid, so a little stronger cover on the Origin too, so the Viking should feel like a little half step down. It should be longer, a couple boards weaker, and a little tamer but more continuous on the back end. The RB90 description also says the solid component of the cover, not solid components, which I'm assuming means that the Viking is 2 parts Pearl, 1 part solid, while I believe the Origin was 2 parts solid and 1 part Pearl. Not sure on that last part, and it's not a huge difference or something that's going to be super impactful anyway, just worth mentioning if that's actually the case. I'm not sure whether this means the Origin is in fact getting discontinued with the announcement of the Viking. I'd hope not, because the Origin's amazing, and it seems like they should be able to coexist because the Origin is pretty aggressive and dynamic, while they say the Viking was designed to be more balanced, so that's also what the information would suggest. Now on to the rant. A couple days ago, we got that big teaser from Storm, which of course we know due to several leaks, tech sheets floating around, and an ad in the Bowler's Journal, it's the Phaze II Pearl. So they tease something, leak so much that you basically announce it without announcing it, try to get everybody all hyped up for it, but then a couple days later you announce something different. While there's no release date out there for the P2P yet, from what I gather, they're doing some kind of contest or game or something leading up to the full information/announcement date, which is apparently still a week or two away. Then the release date, I'm assuming, will be a couple weeks after that, putting us into either late November or early December for the release, but after the Viking basically is what I'm getting at here. So the entire time from now until the Viking releases, it'll be Phaze II Pearl games or contests, then the official announcement and the associated fanfare, just to have the Viking release before the ball that you're driving all this hype for, and somehow you expect anyone to care about the Viking. I guarantee you it'll be the same song and dance for the staffers. Oh, I know we're excited for the Phaze II Pearl. That's what we're hyping. It's what everybody wants to talk about, wants to know about, and is going to be asking you about. But we aren't going to allow you to talk about it. We want you to ignore all that and concentrate and focus on the Viking, because it's actually been announced and it'll be out first, so you really need to promote it instead, even though we'll be going overboard talking P2P and we'll completely ignore the Viking. They don't seem to understand the point of what they're doing. You hype something to create buzz and interest, get people talking, get people asking questions. So why do you then try to shut down or redirect all your staffers and reps some other direction? Everybody knows about the P2P, and telling your reps to stay quiet and redirect customers to something else that they don't want to know about or care about and aren't asking questions about is ridiculous. Actual stupidity. Again, this is why I was so frustrated as a staffer. Nobody's going to give a shit about the Viking, unfortunately, because they're actively sabotaging their own product again. The staffers won't be allowed to put anything out there about the P2P or talk about it or give you any information until the official announcement day, even though the company will be going all out promoting it or still trying to tease it, even though we all know what it is already. And then I also guarantee you that they'll officially reveal or announce the Phaze II Pearl a week before the Viking releases, stealing even more of Odin's thunder right when they should be focusing on the Viking during the week leading up to its release. This is why I left, so I can actually give you the information you want when you want it, and talk about what you want to talk about when you want to talk about it, regardless of what strings or nonsense or misdirection SPI is trying to pull. I really feel for the staffers because this is once again another ridiculous mucked up situation directly caused by awful scheduling and inept marketing strategies. The Viking could be an amazing ball, but it's going to be completely overshadowed by the Phaze II Pearl that they're going to pump and hype up for probably the next month and a half. The Viking could be the ball of the two that you really want or need. It might be great, and the P2P could just be another overhyped but ultimately mediocre phase line release. I'm sure this drives me a lot crazier than it does you, but it still has to be frustrating and inconsistent for you to some degree too. It's just a complete mess, but hey, people keep buying lightning bolts anyway. At least they're making great stuff right now. I can't knock them from that angle whatsoever. I really like what they've been doing this year. Anyway, that's what I got. Rant off. See you next time.